them all, kill them all. Don't push Corki.
No flash Corki.
He's 1 HP, man.
Hit.
No, he's not dead. He's not dead. Don't leave. You can maybe get Fnatic. Very good. I use them. Don't push first. They missed the shot. Jin missed the shot. We win this. We win. Don't push Corki. Don't push Corki. We win. Oh my god, the Jin missed the shot and I was done.
Jin will be the one that falls Mickey flashes! And once again, somehow out of nowhere, G2 find victory in the jaws of defeat.
Well, it is G2 who are on match point already, and I'm getting flashbacks to yesterday, to times in the game when G2 stole the game away as much as the other team threw it away. And I gotta say, that was a phenomenal throw.
Absolutely. I mean, Fnatic's just as much as...
I'm so frustrated.
I'm frustrated too, because there's so many expectations coming into this game today where suddenly they're just not meeting them. And I just gotta say, they are incapable of closing out a game that should have been 100% won by them.
It's super annoying because they've invested so much into bot side. I feel like this was Fnatic's game to win. They got every neutral objective in the early game. 6 scrubs. They got the first dragon. It wasn't a 6 scrubs for 2 dragon handshake. It was 6 for 1. So you were in a really commanding position. At one point, you even secured tier 3 turret, but the lead you got, everything on to know, it just wasn't enough.
And look at this. I mean, we already saw the preface before it, Nisqy, but this really killed them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like G2 is defending really well in the mid game, even when they're behind. And I feel like Fnatic doesn't abuse the timings where they are like really strong. Like here, they don't have smite on Razork, so they try to bait a fight, but the fight looks so bad, and then they just lose the game here. And I feel like even in mid game, like Noah was 3k up at one point, but I feel like he just eased forward like a lot, like I did in my series. But yeah, I think G2 is just a better team today, I think.
Yeah, I think it's such a mental breaker as well, because Noah, he got everything funneled to him, right, intentionally. They gave him 3 plates down bot, 4 plates up top, and they deliberately left him in isolation to get first blood tower alone. He had a 2.5k gold lead at 15 minutes, and even then he was eing forward overconfidently and getting caught in team fights. I mean, it even stems off the back of winning lane.
Yeah, but I was going to say that as well, because while he also got resources, they straight up just dived them 2v2.
Yeah,
like, they earned the lead in this game as well, and then Razork started playing for that bot side as well. I think it came to a point as well where Fnatic didn't identify that they needed to stop playing alone with the Ezreal, because splitting the map open is great, but you also had a Lucian that could have done that. You had an Ezreal with so much pressure around his Q, around his range, that you could have utilized better as well, in my opinion. And I think it goes to the team, it goes to Noah. No matter what, a lead like this should have been way better.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you called it out rightfully. I mean, Humanoid on Lucian was doing really well, was also doing a lot of work. They had all the points of strength in this game to close this out. And again, I'm looking at a G2, and so much comes down to what we talked about at the top of this day, that even if you're in a good form, even if you're in a good game state, you're playing versus players who thrive under the most amount of pressure. We saw a Broken Blade who had to deliver, again, just like yesterday on the Mundo, that 3-man knockup. Mikyx in some of those team fights, you know, the target selection, the work he did for his team. It's those individuals that are making it work again, Nisqy, and it must be, for Fnatic, it must feel like banging your head against a damn wall.
Yeah, I think for Fnatic it's really rough, because I feel like they probably think they're the better team, but if you cannot... I mean, that's what they probably think, because 2 games they're ahead, right? And then they throw in the mid game, so now they're thinking, okay, what do we actually draft? Do we draft early game? Do we draft mid game? Do we draft late game? And if I was the Fnatic coach, I would just draft scaling lanes and just hope that G2 is not very clean, and then just win team fights.
Yeah, but the problem is, G2 is very clean, and especially around these objectives beforehand. The 2 team fights we started seeing a segment with today as well was the one where they could have secured Soul, but they died and they did not get sold. Second one, they could have gotten Baron, but they die and don't get the Baron, right? G2 is just so good when it matters in the late game. I think they're the hardest team to play late game against, and it also shows in these team fights. So I completely agree with Nisqy. You have to have a stronger scaling game if you want to beat them in that period of the game.
Yeah, it makes me... It's not a conversation we need to have now, but I'm looking internationally, of course, as G2, you don't want to have that kind of an early game, of course. But the fact of the matter is, Eragon, if the teams in Europe can't punish you, yeah, then why would you care about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's both teams that I have criticism over as well. I think specifically the jungle supports this game were overstepping a lot in terms of being their ability to frontline. I think the best frontline of this game was probably BB, but the rest of them, Jun, Mikyx included, would always overstep, get caught, CC'd and die because of how much damage there is in the game at the moment. It's incredibly difficult to play, and that's my biggest point of criticism.
Yeah, and I think this shows to me that I feel like when Fnatic plays and Noah is ahead, I actually don't think it's that scary because I feel like they don't play well around Noah, or Noah doesn't lead well enough to carry the game. So I would say for G2, if they just pick a bot lane that actually just scales, then I think they can just kind of win the game, because I feel like even when Noah is like 2 or 3k ahead, he won't be able to carry the team.
Okay, maybe that's the strategy to go for, and you know what? They can even lose the next game or the next two, and they can still close it out. The question is, can Fnatic make that run? Can they do to G2 what some teams have done to them? It feels harsh, because on the one hand, you want to say individual prowess, bot lane advantage 2v2, mid-game skirmish advantage, yes. But there's only a couple of moments in games like these that matter.
Oh, absolutely. But I will say, we already saw it in Game 5 against G2 with Fnatic as well. When all the chips were down, the cards were shown, they were still willing to experiment. We saw it with Italy. They're a team that don't give up, even when their backs are up against the wall. And I think that is something that has to come through now, because they have to succeed with this reverse sweep.
We're heading into the draft. Fnatic is staying on the blue side, Eragon.
Yeah, it's rough. I think we see two worlds. Either we see full scaling front to back with the Ornn Azir kind of for Fnatic, or we go to the opposite side where we see the Renekton Nidalee, full everything unleash Razork.
Yeah. He's the one we talked about so much, so would you actually opt for that strat?
I would say so, and I think Razork agrees with it as well.
Probably.
Yeah, I think they should get Razork off Zyra, because like Zyra is the champion where like you enable your laners kind of to carry the game, and I think they should try to first pick Renekton and then build a comp around it like Nidalee or Brand for Razork. And I think that's their highest chance of winning today. And I believe Humanoid, even though he's doing really good on the Lucian, I feel like he's way better on the Azir, the ways.
It's a trap. Didn't we see it yesterday? The Lucian keeps getting picked into the
Lucian
Corki, but the
loses.
Corki wins.
I think a really good adaptation could be, you know, minimize the AD carries, like if you take Corki away, take away the whole AD carry handshake, and get some kind of, because of that, you force the Azir to be higher pro, and then maybe a mage into that for Humanoid, like the Way, like the Tilia, bring that back, because that's his comfort zone.
Okay, more ADCs banned. I'm hearing you. They're going to start off in the same way.
I mean, I would say if I was Fnatic, I would ban Corki, because then it allows you to play Azir and Way. And I feel like Caps in the last 7-8 games has played like 6 games of Corki. I feel like Corki is his new Tristana. And I wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic, I guess they
adaptation
do
at all
the
from
same.
their game 2 draft.
But I don't think they will first pick Zyra, unless they think that they just grief mid-game and that they thought they should just win, which is kind of the case, to be fair. I think if they play better, they would just win.
So you're saying they should triple down, because that's...
If I was Fnatic, I would not, but if they believe it's their best chances, then that's what they would probably do.
Well, first step complete.
Ezreal for Noah.
Ezreal for Noah. Now, I think the best answers into Ezreal personally are stuff like the Kai'Sa, but we've seen Handsome have a lot of affinity towards the Jhin as well to neutralize down bot side. Even if you get a strong matchup with the Ezreal plus Leona, for example, and that could convert into more plays, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run it back with the Jhin. I feel like that's his crutch recently.
Oh, and G2 banned Nidalee actually off Razork as well. So this makes it harder for Razork to carry, but maybe I guess it's his brand. They could lock Azir or Way here if they want, but I feel like Humanoid is very happy with the Lucian. But maybe after losing twice on a champion, you want to switch it or not? Okay.
The salty run
so
back.
they do double down on it.
But it's Brand now,
And I will say Razork had some incredible performances on Brand as well. We've seen it in teamfights specifically, so if we want stronger teamfight elements, it's not that Zyra isn't great in teamfights, it's just that the outscaling will be there for the Brand eventually. So definitely something that Razork might be leading towards now instead.
Yeah, and I think both teams probably want a tank top here, which is what we didn't really see from Fnatic in the last 2 games, because he played twice Renekton. I think Oscar would probably blind pick K'Sante or Ornn, possibly.
Yeah.
But that makes it very scary, because BB's counter picks are really good.
What has BB been cooking? Look, all I'm saying is if there's a tank on one side, I've seen a bit of Smolder in his match history, okay? He has been liking the Smolder top lane a little bit alongside some other ranged top laners. I hope they don't run it back and they just do tank for tank.
Yeah, I think Smolder is actually pretty good into low engage, and here like Fnatic doesn't have engage yet, depending on their support pick, right? I think K'Sante Ornn might be the ones that they trade.
Yeah, I will say, I wonder what Handsome is going to pick, because he's getting heavily pinched. The Kai'Sa's still up and available into the Ezreal, but that could be a rougher lane phase.
Yeah, I think he could just look Ziggs and play, maybe.
Does he play? Because we haven't seen it all playoffs, I think. It's huge in the LPL, but I'm really surprised into the Ezreal, we just haven't really seen it too much.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's left. I mean, Varus is still left, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's still open.
He did lose with it yesterday, but it is a flex for G2.
Yeah.
And if Oscar is going to blind the tank
you
anyways...
bot.
Yeah, I don't like Varus, but I think it's really bad.
I mean, the question is even if they're still thinking of pinching AD carries, like that Ornn on 4 might even be a crutch. Like, we're talking about counter picks as well, but this champion, I'm just saying, it's a Europe special, and we've seen it do crazy things. It is still going to be the Varus, so...
G2 could do a Senna lane as well if they play Senna. I'm not sure if they're familiar with it or not, because it seems like it's more like team fighting comps anyways, and I think Senna is great for that. And also, if you get the counter picked up, then you can lock in Senna Nautilus that can just chill on the bot lane. Let's see what they will pick here.
It's become a bit different with the center lane, just because it suddenly hands the move around the map instead.
Go back to basics.
Draven into Ezreal, though, historically isn't really something that you do want to do as well. Yeah, I get it, I get it. But honestly, I don't think it's the greatest spot for it right here, so...
No, I don't care.
That's perfectly fair.
Okay, what is he gonna pick? Renekton again?
And then maybe Ken.
Is it an insta-log?
No, it's
this must
be Ornn
Of course,
again.
it's the Ornn.
Hey, we've got the same kind of, so what does that spell for us?
I think G2 is gonna win this game again, because I feel like if last game showed you that Fnatic cannot snowball a game, I feel like this game they will not give you 3k gold lead on your AD at 15. And I feel like if they don't have that, then it will be even harder to snowball.
Don't you think that Fnatic, though, they have 3 lanes of push in the early game, and I really feel like they can just take over objectively, right? Objectively, no emotions attached. I think Fnatic have all the tools to take over the early game at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I think G2's read is that Fnatic cannot snowball games.
Yeah.
And that's why they kind of just pick scaling. I mean, they have Ornn, Corki, Kai'Sa. And I think they're the right of doing so, because 2 games they just scale and they win teamfights, and Fnatic is winning early, but they don't win the games.
But if there's one man you're looking at here from Fnatic, it's got to be Razork on this brand as well. Like, he is the one that needs to get so many resources through this prior. He's the one that needs to get the wheel going as well. If they're finally cheesing up with a Leona and a brand to find these picks, it has to be through Razork, where they get the picks and then they get the objectives and hopefully close out these games with this draft, or else G2 will just take it.
They will just take it, and they'll go to Worlds and they'll grab their 3rd shield. All the chips are down. Let's see if Razork can bring them back. Medic, what do you think?
Thank you very much, Sjokz. We are here for what could be the final game of the summer split. As Sjokz said, the winner of this is guaranteed a spot at Worlds, 3rd seed or better. Obviously, we still have season finals to go in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, it's all on the line today. Fnatic sitting 0-2 down after having 2 exceptional early games against G2.
And as a commentator, our responsibility is to be impartial, to just state the facts, but I really want Fnatic to win this game so we can get more games. It would be very anticlimactic if G2 were to 3-0 this.
Am I meant to take the other side of this? No, G2 should stop. That's so much better.
I'm honestly shocked, because Fnatic have been in winning positions, and I think Nisqy made a great summary at the end where Fnatic have showcased that they don't possess the ability to truly snowball a game through to the end. And when you have things like an Ornn, I think that it just offers so much late game teamfight power, which is ultimately what these games are being decided on, that you naturally will have doubts about Fnatic being able to snowball this game and effectively close it out to bring us to a game 4.
And I do feel sorry for, actually I'm going to hold on to this point, as Cap's going to spot out Fnatic as they're going for the invade, but I think it's more just to get vision down. There's the ward. Back away. But I do feel sorry for guys like Razork, because Razork is consistently talked about as one of the top, if not the best jungler that we have in the league.
100%.
But the man has not been able to pick up a title because G2 at the moment have just stood in his way every step of the way. And it feels like it's kind of time for at least him to pick up an award, so then we can start to talk about just how good he is. But it feels like he just hasn't been able to find that success to run through, as you say, into the later portions of the game.
Arguably the best LEC player to have never won a championship, to have never won a title. You can see how good his playoffs been. Yeah, it is one. We're not going to have it right now, Vedi, because I can't list up all the people that were good that haven't won.
But it's a great conversation, right? Because it's that fascinating debate behind like how many great players has Caps denied a title from. He's just that good as Mickey. Is this a repeat?
It is a repeat. Jun's going to hit level 2
No
and Mickey's
way!
going to die.
Oh my
They didn't even hit level 2 this time. Noah, though, might die in response. Hans cleanses away, but he didn't anticipate the barrier. It's 2 for Noah and Jun in the bot lane.
Surely this is enough. Surely this time.
A double kill for Fnatic's bot lane. Noah has gotten first blood in every single game. Now he's 2-0 on the Ezreal. And Fnatic find themselves with a 1k gold lead already.
Jun looking for mid. Caps will have the Valkyrie. Jun just holding the Zenith blade.
Yeah, the level 3 being hit there kind of snuffed that one out, because you could take the Valkyrie then at level 3 and make sure you're able to step back. But we'll give Humanoid guaranteed push in the lane, which is still nice, and just Jun using that time where he doesn't really have to be bot to put some hurt onto Caps.
Like, all credit to Jun and Noah for this. But Mikyx and Hansama are kind of into like, you go Titan's Wrath burst for the shield, it gets worn down. They can just flash on you, and then Hansama's like, oh, maybe I can kill off Noah, but just doesn't anticipate him using one of his summoner spells, so ends up dying as well.
It's also just how strong press the attack is in these early stages for Ezreal. You can proc it incredibly quickly because of your Qs, and then just being able to run through based off your auto attacks and that. But G2, a lot of members in mid lane, not able to get too much success there, but no summoner spells burnt on the Fnatic side.
Mikyx has flash here, might just try and flash hook to burn Humanoids. Instead, they're just looking for the push. Humanoid forced away, Jun's still waiting around the corner. Razork working his way up mid as well. Look, guys, if you're not sure what to do, just put everyone in the mid lane and see what happens. Early games for Caps and Humanoid have been very much dictated by how many players there are around them. As we see Mikyx getting caught out with the Shield of Daybreak, Caps goes in, kills off Humanoid, another stun. For Jun, he'll flash the wall. Yike might flash to chase, decides against it. Razork's still there. Cooldown's coming back up. Pillar of Flame connects. The Seer does too. There's the stun. The root coming back out. Plays enough to kill off Yike. No, not quite as Razork dies in the end. The burn will tick. And it ends up being a 2 for 2. Now Humanoid comes to look to make it 3 for 2. Can't quite find enough damage on Caps yet.
What is happening? Everyone's
Flash
a big flash for Humanoid as Caps not going to be able to, or sorry, Humanoid not going to get caught out there, but still huge amount of effort in this mid lane. Caps has red buff now, should be able to push this wave and get a reset and TP back in, but he's so low.
The answer to that question is it's Fnatic G2.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And yeah, let's go back to the start of this. It starts with an initiation between the two supports. Razork from over the wall gets spotted on vision, but then he just bursts through Mikyx with the help of Humanoid. Caps then quickly trades that back. Jun is forced to flash away, and Yike sits there and says, well, hang on, can we chase this? And Razork says, no, you cannot, good sir. Lands a nice stun, connects the E as well, tries to flash away from some of the damage, lands the last auto, knowing that the passive will finish off the kill, but the moment he commits the flash, that means that he loses his life to Caps as well. After that, Mikyx comes back to mid lane and then forces the flash out from Humanoid. So it's flash, 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 and Caps ends up being the biggest benefactor in all of this.
And Fnatic are 1,000 gold ahead in the early game, as per usual. Most of that obviously sitting on Noah's shoulders as he's 2-0-0. As you say, Caps still having flash and a red buff. Makes this a very difficult lane for Humanoid. Yeah, the 2 kills obviously helping him out. Humanoid going for the cull early. 85 stacks still remaining on that. Phage tier, the options for Caps.
But that's the thing, with you opting in towards the early cull and having that Phage for Caps, it changes the dynamic of mid lane where now Caps gets a ton of push there. So if Hansama and Mikyx can get push on bot as well, it can set up for Yike to play a little bit more aggressive. But as you say,
Yike's on his way across. Razork's going to get hooked up with the dredge line, and he falls low first. Hansama will die. Razork will be answered. But now Noah and Jun can open up. Yike has to run. Uses the water walking through the river to escape.
Fnatic forcing plays on the bot side of the map. Ends up getting them another few kills. Look at this bot lane from G2 now. 0 and 5 collectively. Noah has secured 3 of the team's 6 kills in the other game. Broken Blades.
And it's all for all exchange.
I think Broken Blade needs to be careful though. Should be perfectly safe though, as it's G2 to secure the first dragon. Naturally, Razork is going to make his way towards top. He has the pressure from the Renekton as well that he can play off of to be able to secure the grubs if he so pleases. A hyper-aggressive early game. Noah really being set up for success once again. I will say that some of the plays from Noah in the previous game left me wanting. He E'd in a number of times, trying to clean up some kills, and he ended up getting caught out of position. The CC following up from that Jhin in particular was very scary. Razork, though, not slowing down, sets his sights on the top lane.
Broken Blade trying to survive here. Can't really do anything. Yeah, his attempt at surviving did not go too successfully.
I didn't see if he used his Bellows Breath just before that, but wasn't able to stop any of that CC coming through. Now hook from Mikyx mid onto Jun, but both going to step away. That's trade from Humanoid back though as Jun goes in deep.
Jun jumps onto Caps, but then can Jun get away? Has the Aftershock True Shot Barrage will clip the toes of Caps down to 150 HP, but levels up to give himself a little bit more HP.
Caps really loves playing on the edge. The number of times that he just chooses not to flash is always exciting to watch, but in this instance, it's just a kill on the top side for Fnatic. Razork really having so much impact on the map. The bot side of G2 forced to constantly play defensively. Now Mikyx has to be careful.
Thing is,
Wait, no,
no
he's
arcane
used
shift
his
in
E.
forward.
gets there. Yeah, Noah has no arcane shift, does have the barrier, has the flash, but Hunsummer has a killer instinct. But in the end, Noah will get one. Hunsummer's holding the killer instinct here. Noah still has the barrier. There's the killer instinct barrier exchange. Hunsummer flashes the mystic shot. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! It was
Refillable different.
no way was that a refill dip.
Oh my word. Hunsummer gets a 500 gold shutdown.
That's all that matters in the end. Not even close, baby, it seems. And I will say, I feel a little bit like Bill Murray. Okay, you guys watch Groundhog Day? Because the game, every game is the same.
The comps are the same, the action is the same, and Fnatic find themselves with a 2k gold lead 8 minutes in.
3 comes through a Drake. Everything is the same, Betty. It happens over and over again. We'll have another look at this because Noah is overextended, and as soon as CC lands onto him after the arcane shifts forward, you think he's just going to die.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that he commits the E,
Never
we're back
mind.
in the action.
Whoa! A little switcheroo there as Mikyx flashes, looking cousin blows, but can't quite land it.
When will they learn their lesson that Noah can kill Mikyx? He just does that much damage.
Staggering blows, doesn't land. Humanoid here has the culling. Caps has the flash. Caps will Valkyrie out for now. There's the culling. It's into his back, down to about 300 HP. Humanoid could look for more.
Wait. Combo would kill him if you get the E into the short E into the Q, but when it back away is.
Oh.
Oh, full brittle, full brittle.
Nice bit of Ornn tech there. Broken Blade getting the double knockup. But ultimately, it's Renekton. He presses ult, he's fine. I will note, 30 CS difference in the top lane. It did help that they got the kill onto Broken Blade, of course.
Yeah,
worth
it
highlighting.
tends to switch
But
things up a little bit.
this just goes to show how devastating the early matchup can be. Of course, things will swing into a more neutral state as we get later into the game, where neither top laner will really be able to kill one another. But Oscar doing a good job.
Just a reminder, following the Summer Split Finals, the LEC is back for our 4-week season finals event, ending with our grand finals in Munich. Join us in Berlin for weeks 1 to 3 with tickets available at lec.gg/tickets or the Munich Grand Final tickets at lec.gg/Munich. Is Oscarinin. Okay, Razork flashing forward. Thank you, guys. I needed some action because I sped up because I thought action was going to happen. So I'm glad Razork decided to flash forward. Broken Blade has a flash of his own. The Pyroclasm's going to follow him. He flashes away from Yike, but Yike's caught up with the Seer. Oscar tanks the tap.
Razork just barely able to connect with the ultimate there, meant that as BB dashed away, he brought the ult onto Yike, so that Q then gets the stun, sets up beautifully then for the rest of Fnatic to follow up.
Sorry, Medic unplugging himself was very comical. Oh, he's still going.
Oh no.
Okay, well, we don't have Medic for the time being. So while he tries to triage that, you've got...
Hello. We're back.
Hey.
We're back.
It was nice while it lasted.
Yeah.
It's
Gonna... Okay, Medic. We need tech support immediately.
Apparently, okay. Our producer just told me to switch to caster headset 4. It's not plugged in. It's not plugged in there, so I'm just going to stick on this one and hold these in my hands for now.
We are setting up for Dragon, spawning in about 20 seconds. You can see that Fnatic is already laying down some vision as G2 is looking to do the same. Noah has the push in bot. And Fnatic have access into the river, but it's Caps that's likely going to secure the crab. I don't think they're really going to be able to threaten dive onto Hunsummer. Turnman takes
They can go on Mikyx. He's died 5 times already. Vedi wants a 6th to add to it. The Titan's Wrath shield, enough to keep him alive for now. Hunsummer takes a chunk across the wall as well. As G2 looked to step in here, but didn't really do any damage to Fnatic. So Fnatic will start up their first Dragon of the game.
So getting plates from bot side for Noah as well, and getting a nice chunk onto Hunsummer there to boot. But I think this is kind of where Fnatic, at least if they can continue this pressure, they're in a good spot. But again, we've seen this, but this is significantly more than the last game. Now, last time it was 5k at about 18 minutes, now 5k at 12 minutes. So you're in a, or well, 4k now, but you're in a very good position to try and follow up, to keep pressure on towards Void Grubs, start putting pressure on towards his bottom side off of the Triforce, being able to take chunks out of that turret on the bottom side. As now TP from Caps.
Oscarinin has the flash, call to the 4-shot coming down. Oscar flashes away from it, but Caps can continue to chase.
Oscarinin needs to try and get underneath the tower. Should be able to do so. Just slice and dice his way out. Caps goes underneath though. He wanted the TP about to come through. Caps couldn't get away.
Oh my god.
He misplays and he gets punished by Oscar. Now Broken Blade is overextended. Humanoid
Humanoid just kills him, right? Broken Blade under the tower with the culling. Can't get away. 12-4 now for Fnatic. Very much in control of this game.
Fnatic will get themselves 6 grubs. They've gotten a Drake as well. They punish the aggression. The bot tower is up for grabs. Noah's going to move over to mids. This is an even better snowball than what we saw from Fnatic in the previous game. Their lead is only going to continue to build as they turn their attention towards this next outer tower. Remember that the plates haven't fallen yet.
Flash solar flare from Jun. Yike caught under the tower. Strangle Thorns coming out. Humanoid tanks 2 shots. Mikyx coming in as well. Oh no! Benny, you said it was good. You cursed them! Immediately, Noah tries to join the fight. Jun down to 200 HP, ticking with the ignite. Mikyx falling low as Noah flashes in. True Shot Barrage coming out, but Caps will find Razork. And now Noah has to jump back in with the Arcane Shift. Caps in a 1v2. Might try and take the play. He's trying to take every single one before Noah stacking up the Arcane Shift off the Krugs with that Mystic shot, jumps back forward, Mystic misses.
You can see actually on the bottom side, Oscarinin was chasing Broken Blade to deny him any sort of teleport up here because Oscarinin didn't have his. So nice job by Oscarinin to allow Fnatic that opportunity to push back G2. Looked a little dangerous, but they do come out on top and they should be able to get this top lane turret.
It's the type of bloodbath that I watched G2 Fnatic for. In the previous game, it was a total number of kills that we had minutes, but now we're at 14 kills from Fnatic alone. The solar flare misses from Jun. Humanoid initially tanks up the tower, so he's forced to flash early. Takes a few too many tower shots, and he ends up losing his life to Hans Summer. Then you think, oh, well, Noah's arrived. Now it's even numbers, and the health advantage is in Fnatic's favor, so he should be able to clean up, but Corki's on his way as well. So Razork ends up in an awkward situation where he loses his life, but then it becomes a battle between Noah and Caps. Noah finds himself a double, and Caps is forced to retreat.
Just about able to escape away off the back of that, but Rift Tower is still up and available if teams want to try and face off for it.
The thing for Fnatic, for G2 though, is you got a 2 for 2 and you got a bounty. Right? In the end, that's actually kind of worth for you. You're already losing so much on the map. You're 7,000 gold behind at 15 minutes. But Fnatic, keep the tempo up, keep the pace up, sure. But maybe a modicum, a little sprinkling of calmness might go a long way to making sure you can close out this game.
Nah, screw that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think with the goal lead they have, I don't agree with slowing the game down. I think that you just keep attacking. Like, when you really just hit them with your wallet at this point in the game, right? And as long as you're not... When I say over-aggressive, what I mean by that is, like, you forget that towers exist.
I mean, like they just did. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just
I think the other caveat is you do have to be careful of TPs, because Broken Blade still has his, so if you try and overforce something, Broken Blade to come into the play. If you try and stay around too long in mid lane, we've seen how effective G2 are collapsing on mid lane to find numbers advantages. So I think that's where Fnatic take the step back for the moment to wait for those teleports to be up. So
Humanoid! Oh, Humanoid! Oh, Humanoid! Razork flashing forward with the Pyroclasm will get a couple of bounces. The Rift Tower down as well. Broken Blade does have the call of the Forge God, but in the end, Humanoid dies. And in the top lane, Oscarinin the target for Caps and Mikyx as well. But Oscar trying to turn it back around. Noah coming in. Mikyx trying to dodge away from the Mystic shot at TP. In by Broken Blade. Can Caps survive for long enough for the backup of the call of the Forge God? Noah locked up with it. The Phosphorus bomb lands, but Noah dashes forward. Misses the Arcane shot. Oscarinin chasing Broken Blade down towards the bottom side. Another Mystic shot going wide as BB looking to rejoin with his mid laner, keeping Oscar at bay for long enough, it seems. Oscar goes in with the cold of Meek, and the Mystic shot finds its mark in the back of Caps. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, Jun dies. Hans Summer gets a double kill. Yes, Noah got something, but G2 answer on the other side of the map.
It's more blood for the Blood God! Violence across the map in the top side. It's Fnatic finding a skirmish.
It's not over.
Surely G2 don't have the damage here.
Caps has TP, he's up in 15 seconds, but they can delay.
Hans Summer is now at 4 kills.
Yep.
Like, he was 0-2 in lane, and he has just been getting shut down after shut down now. The only downside for him is Noah has also continued to get kills, so he's at 8. But we look back at what happened on the bot side of the Rift. They dropped the Herald down. Their goal is to actually lock down Yike. They get the knock-up. The chain CC comes through from Razork, and they get that kill. But then the ultimate from Hans Summer is able to get the collapse down, trades back for 2, and the Herald doesn't really do much towards the tower as well. Meanwhile, all this chaos is happening on the top side of the map. To reassess, Fnatic still in the driver's seat, but this aggression the goal is going on to the right people for G2.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to use the Riptail there to start that engage. Jun already had ulti, and you could have just looked for the pick onto Yike, who had no flash, but it gives a little bit more now to G2. Still a 7,000 gold lead. Fnatic are still in a very strong position, as Vedi was saying, but it's just these little mistakes that are giving bits of bobs of gold here and there. But even on the topside play, like BB teleporting in with half HP was just bizarre.
Yeah, man.
As Vedi says, blood for the blood god, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta like think before you go into the ritual sacrifice, you know?
No. This is my League of Legends. I'm.
Oh, Mickey. I'm sure he has been thinking, but he's taking the nautical theme of Nautilus a little bit too far this game, sleeping with the fishes more than he is out on Summoner's Rift. 0-7-4 on this Nautilus. It can be hard when you fall behind.
007's cousin who's struggling in MI6. 07.
G2 will have to find some good fights if they want to turn this game around.
Name's Baines. John Baines.
All right. Stop it now. Credit to Mickey. While he does die often, he's still able to find these great impactful plays. I'll be keeping our eyes on him to see whether or not he can pull one off in this game. Because G2 definitely on the back foot. They're cautious to even walk through their own side of the jungle. You can see the sweepers coming through. It's Fnatic that continue to be in the driver's seat. Oscar a little overextended on the top side, but he is respecting that. You can see resets now coming through from Noah. Curious as to what he'll pick up. What does he have enough gold for, if anything significant?
The biggest mistake I noticed from Fnatic in the last set of games when they had these leads was not kind of taking it slow and setting up the vision on their, like in the enemy jungle, to know what the movement was from G2. And that's really where I want to see the improvement here, because G2 have already cleared out some of the vision that was a little bit shallow in their jungle from Fnatic. But if, whoa, maybe he won't actually. They're just going to TP in with Humanoid. They want to try and reinforce this.
Mid. Yeah. They know that Ornn is on the top side.
Caps can try and clear out this wave before they get there. Noah dashing forward, but the wave is gone. The mites obviously will help. Fnatic can tank a tower shot each.
All right, so perhaps a bit of an overcommitment. Did Humanoid need to invest the TP? That's debatable. But you kind of look at the wave states, and he doesn't really want to overextend on the bot side of the map. What Fnatic could do is push this wave in mid and then transition their vision towards bot side to allow him to push out that wave, but instead they're really committing onto this mid tier 1.
Oh, sorry. This is the collapse, though. Look at where BB is on the map. Because you end up overforcing on the mid wave, BB's able to push out on that top side. And now able to move into position here where you have to force yourself out of here as Fnatic. They will get some vision, but this is still very dangerous.
This is what I was saying, right? Like they could have cleared out the wave and then made this move over. They still get the blues, rightly said, but they actually don't have much vision on the bot side of their jungle. Zyra's still going to be able to secure these camps. I really think they're not quite respecting the wave clear. Let's see if they can secure the tower this time around.
Mickey just short on the hook there. That tower should fall to Fnatic, as you say. They get it. Finally cracked that mid-tier 1. They have 3 turrets to 0 in their favor, and the gold lead still, well, actually extending to 8,000 now. 4.5 of that sitting on Oscarinin in the top lane, who's just being matched by a tank currently.
This Renekton is very durable. I'm not sure G2 really have the damage to be able to shred through this Renekton. You can see the total gold. Oscar and Noah sitting at the top. Noah's sitting there with 8 kills, but Renekton's been getting all these towers, been getting all these plates. He's a large part of, as Medic was saying, the early game lead. Now Fnatic with an 8k gold lead. This is their game to lose.
Before this series, I would have said that's an insurmountable gold lead.
But Baron still exists.
Yes, it does.
So we'll see how things play out. Dragon in about a minute and a half. Baron is, of course, on the cards. I don't expect that to be an immediate force from Fnatic. Let's see, mid control once again.
I think the problem that Fnatic are having, though, is that they're over-committing members to mid. Like, Humanoid TP's in mid. Now Humanoid was mid, so he's now moving back bot. It means that they don't have both side lanes crashing at the same time to create multiple points of pressure on the map for G2. So even though Fnatic are moving into this, you're able to always catch the waves as G2. Look at Broken Blade. He's got no pressure topside. They're going to be able to now push out that wave top and shift Yike
Caps
down.
Soloflag going in as well. They're just looking to jump onto him, and they take out Caps. Jun underneath the tower, locked up. Depth charge going to come out, but he flashes away, so no longer has that turret aggro. Another kill, 2 Fnatic and a tier 2 to boot.
All right, if you can just catch Caps, it doesn't really matter. So Fnatic able to make that pick work, and now starting to move up once more. They will reset, as you're going to have Dragon in 20 seconds.
Yike and Mickey on the collapse here. No depth charge, remember, but the Stranglethorn's on! Once again, G2 finds something, a shutdown going over as well. Jun will die, a double for Hans. And the Dragon in 6 seconds time.
Could this be a Baron? The pings are coming down. G2 seem a bit indecisive, but they're going to commit towards it. Of course, there is still a very fed Renekton on the side of Fnatic. I do not think this will be as easy as G2 think.
Razork on the front line, Mikyx flashing forward. The staggering blows connects, and even with a flash from Razork, he is put 6 feet under. G2 strike back once again. The Baron their prize with those picks found in bot.
I mean, what do you say at this stage? Fnatic again stumble past the 20-minute mark, giving G2 that moment, that small window, and G2 sees it with both hands. Now Baroned up. They can start to collect more waves, get to a later portion of the game, maybe even crack some of these objective bounties on these outer turrets.
And look at the items now for Hans Summer. 3 completed on the Kai'Sa, has the upgraded Ginsu's I'm actually really mad this time blade, alongside the Nash's Tooth and the Static Shiv. And although I think he's had a relatively... I mean, his Ezreal game was good, but it hasn't all been about him. It's been more about Caps. Hans Summer here in prime position to step up.
I mean, Hans' laning has not been great.
Oh, it's been him and Mikyx. We'll put them in a bubble because we don't know who's making the calls.
but so this play is obviously a great initial pick from Fnatic. Now the goal after this is you convert the tower, you reset, spend the gold, get back out on the map ready to set up for the Dragon. You've already got good vision on the bot side of the map. Crucially, Hans Summer gets the interrupt. Jun wants to make sure that he can escort his AD carry out, but then Yike with a great read. They have that control wall there to track his direction as well, but it all ultimately that's just an unfortunate back timing, right? Like, great interrupt from Hans. He gets a double kill off the back of that too, and the real mistake was from Razork, thinking that he could get a bunch of chunk damage down initially, because it's Mikyx that ends up tanking all of that, and they find that kill onto the jungler as well. So then there's very little counterplay that Fnatic can make, even though they still had Renekton, Brand, and the Lucian all alive, which in a 3 versus 5, they definitely could have done something with this type of gold lead.
Still though, to be fair to Fnatic, they've actually kind of weathered the storm of this Baron. It's a minute and a half left, but the waves haven't really been able to get into a position for G2 to threaten any of the outer turrets. Objective bounties have also fallen at this stage, so G2 maybe kind of mount something here where you can push mid into looking for top outer, but if that's all that G2 really get off this Baron, you're relatively happy with that.
Yeah, it feels very much more like G2 taking the Baron, so Fnatic can't take the Baron.
Pretty much.
Because Fnatic with the Baron would have just been, starting to bulldoze the base. Here, G2 have slowed the game down. The deficit only 5k for them now as Fnatic, well, they've been in this spot before as G2 begin to collapse on the top side. Jun is here, Razork coming in as well. The Zenith Blade's going to land onto Mikyx. TP in, Stranglethorn's used as well as Oscar dives in. The tower falls before it can kill off Yike. And now with the call of the Forge God, it's 2 already. Noah and Humanoid and Razork, what can you do in the face of 5 from G2? Do you have the power to stop them in their tracks? There's another wave on its way in. The Baron remains for 30 seconds, and what was looking like inconsequential, just the delay of game, is now looking like perhaps a tier 1, a tier 2, 2 kills, maybe more for G2. They still have 25 seconds left, and Fnatic have to hold on to their base. If they lose the inhibitor tower now, it opens up the push pressure for G2. Noah trying to put the Mystic shots down, but he can't get through G2's front line, and there's the inhibitor tower, and there's the inhibitor, and every time we say something good about Fnatic, G2 show why they are so often the champions of Europe.
There was no wave clear. There was no options for Fnatic. Oscarinin is trying desperately to clear out these barred up minions, but G2 collapsed faster. We said they had the mid push. They could go top. Oscarinin doesn't respect it. The entirety of Fnatic does not respect it, and G2 punish as a result.
Fnatic thinking with their gold lead that they can just defend against this siege, but there was a numbers advantage. Fnatic could have been thinking about maybe exchanging for the mid-tier 2, maybe just setting up deeper vision, ready for the next dragon or something. Like, instead they tried to fight, and G2 just beat them. Remember, that 2k gold lead that Noah had is gone. The itemization is now in Hans Summer's favor. The gold swing is back, heading towards G2. Of course, they're still at a deficit, but a lot of that deficit is just sitting on the Ornn, who's level 16, by the way. He's still going to do his job that he needs to do. He's got 2 items completed. He's going to offer that tank line. It's a dire situation that Fnatic now find themselves in.
So is Groundhog Day a good movie? Would you say
it's a great movie? It's not a great League of Legends documentary, I'm going to be honest.
There's so much standing gold as well for Fnatic to now just claim. for G2 to claim with all these other towers up for grabs. That's another that's going to fall. Mid tower still needs to drop. It's Caps that's going to catch the mid wave. Fnatic find themselves on the back foot.
Caps has TP to join G2, but they might have a window where they can cut them off here. Look where Jun is. You've got Razork and Noah trying to see if they can get a position. But G2 respecting it, going to pull off. Let Caps push in mid, let the super creeps do the work on top side. And it's Fnatic just seeing if they can threaten now in towards River to get the vision for the Dragon.
Jun flashing, Dredge line away by Mikyx, caught with the Solar Flare, but with the Stranglethorns down, Jun's the one that comes out a little bit hurt from that. Yike down to half HP as well. The Void Seeker's starting to connect from Hansama. Caps is caught off, a bit isolated from the rest of his team, but look at the Void Seekers, just needs another to land here. Caps comes in, Noah dashes across with the arcane shift across the wall, still has the flash, but with the call of the Fortune coming down, Noah has dived in again, and he is being put into the grave by G2. You wonder in these moments what's going through the minds of the player. Well, G2, I can tell you, are thinking about the title. The minions pushing in top. The Super's there, bolstered by Broken Blade CP. Caps is going to reset and has a TP of his own to boot. He can join up with BB. The Bellows Breath, enough to keep Broken Blade okay for now. Caps TP's in, the rest of G2 coming round the corner. Jun, the only one trying to stand under the Nexus towers. Humanoid sent packing, sent back to the fountain. And no matter what they do, Fnatic just can't find a way through. They stand apart, a cut above, untouchable. The G2 reign continues as they are your summer split champions.
A crazy way to end this series. G2 just end it like that. Look at the disappointment, the frustration on Noah's face. He knows the mistake that he made at the end, and G2 was so quick to capitalize. An 8k gold lead disappears in moments, and G2 are once again champions. Back to back to back throughout this year. They will be your summer split champions and will lock a spot at this year's World Championship.
In our trophy ceremony presented by Kia, G2 will once again hoist the shield the third time this year. They'll be looking to make it a clean sweep in a month's time, but for now, all we can see is G2, G2, G2. We'll wait for that. Take a moment, take a breath. I think you can lift it, guys. G2 are your summer split champions.
One of the goals that the organization set out for themselves this year was to win everything domestically. And while I think this final was not the strongest representation of what they are capable of, their consistency throughout the year has to be recognized. They have qualified for World. They will have an opportunity to meet Fnatic once again in the season finals because their journey is not over yet. There is still a 4-week competition left before we round out for the World Championship at the end of this year.
G2 remains the final boss of the LEC. Maybe a little bit nerfed coming into this split, but still an incredibly potent squad where if you make just a handful of mistakes, they can take the game and take a series away from you. It's a repeat of summer 2020, G2 3-0ing Fnatic. What a performance for them. Post 20 minutes, they just didn't make mistakes.
It's a measure of the practice they've done this year as well. It's easy to win when you're playing your best. It's much harder to win when you have to come from behind. And this year, at the start of it, G2 said we're focusing a lot on mid-game. We want to work on not just winning the lane and then winning the game. And although their early games here were pretty atrocious, I think it's a great demonstration of how good they can be at getting back into the game.
And that was bringing in that man in the waistcoat on your screen, Stuffman, to come in, help on that mid-game, help teach them, and they talk a lot about how much he has brought to the team in trying to understand how to play around waves, how to set up their mid-game better, and Fnatic, unfortunately, just weren't able to match them on that.
And naturally, there's going to be a lot of frustration on the side of Fnatic, but they've proven that they definitely deserve to be competing at the top. They are so close. You can see how close they really are, and they'll have another opportunity at the season finals. But congratulations once again to G2, a 3-0 final. They will hold all 3 shields, and now there's just the season final trophy left for them to be the domestic title holders of the LEC.
So the golden road of Europe.
I don't know if we can call it. We're going to have to
The
come up
golden
with
road of Europe. The of Europe is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
The golden lining.
The golden pavement. Roman being Roman. First, second. Oh, I think we're going to hear from the full roster of G2 Esports in just a few moments' time, as well as revealing our final MVP. But for now, I think if you're Fnatic, it's such a disheartening finals, right? Because you are so far ahead in every one of these games, and then a single moment just over and over again started to turn things away from you.
Certainly did. I mean, nothing but frustration from the side of Fnatic. They were full of confidence, as they should be. They were in the lead literally all 3 games, and this series was theirs to lose, which they ultimately did, which I'm sure G2 is also going to feel frustrated by, because winning in this way, like, they definitely showed some good moments, but Fnatic, I think, are an adequate rival, and I'm sure there's a lot that both can learn from one another at the top of Europe.
Yeah, I think G2 definitely going to be taking a look at their early game as they lend themselves in towards season finals, but that mid game feels insurmountable. So we'll have to see what they can do as we move on.
I've got a couple of weeks before season finals comes back, but for now, we're going to send it over to Trouble, who's standing by with Caps and Yike.
Thank you so much, Medic, guys. Fantastic cast, and congratulations, Yike and Caps.
Thank you.
Fantastic back to back to back in Europe, the triple shield, the European Golden Road. How are we feeling, guys?
I mean, it feels good, especially after last week. So going up against Fnatic again, winning this time around. 3-0, maybe not the cleanest 3-0, but 3-0 nonetheless, so we're happy.
Yeah, I'm also very happy. I think this is probably our worst split so far, so yeah, I'm really happy that we came back and managed to 3-0 and play very good in the end.
All right, these were the good news. European Golden Road, triple shield. What in the world is happening with the early game, guys? Yike?
So these games, I guess we had more scaling, so they could for sure do more stuff. I don't know what happened bot lane in some of the games, but I couldn't really help them. Like, I think we just made sure to just scale as good as possible, and I think we were just better at the scaling game and playing late game.
And Caps, earlier on this season, we're like, we're focusing on how we transition our mid games to the late games to try and close our games more cleanly. However, you guys didn't say that the early games would be so disastrous that you were trying extra hard in those mid games. And a lot of those mid games relied on you playing through that side lane. How do you coordinate this with your team when you're like in such a huge goal deficit?
I mean, I think we have just been in a lot of those situations before. I think we've been a team for a long time now, and we have very good ideas of like different game states and what we want to do. And I think especially today, where we really drafted a lot of late game and a lot of like good comeback tools, especially with like the Ornn and the brand Zyra doing a lot of work, especially. We just knew we still felt confident, even though we might have been like 5-6K goal down. I don't know how much we were behind.
7-8.
7-8, you know, yeah. We still felt very confident, and all it took was one pick, one Baron, and then we turned it around.
Yeah, your guys' picks were incredible. You were so willing to throw bodies, which is something that we usually see a lot from the LPL. Like, one person engages, the whole team collapses, and it looked really good with Handsome being able to just dive in with Kai'Sa. Yike, I'm gonna come over to you, because Razork is one of the most aggressive junglers that we have here in the LEC. Is it a challenge playing against him, no matter the odds?
Yeah, I think it's always hard to play against Razork. I think it's always very good, very proactive, so it was for sure hard, like these games. They kind of took over the early game as well with like their the picks their drafters had. So I for sure knew that we kind of had to scale back, and yeah, I think we came back later. I think Hans played very good. Yeah.
Now, Caps, this has been some mid lane dominance for you. Every single time Fnatic has stepped up against you, you've taken them down. The only time Fnatic saw a title, you were still playing for the team. What is left for Caps really over in Europe? Is it just about having that dominance and showing every other mid laner that you're just the best?
I mean, we still lost last week, right? And I think we're still definitely looking to do that step up, not just in in like winning a title, but also in our performances, because I think we still have a lot of things we can improve on from today. So yeah, definitely season finals in the big stadium. That's the goal, to get there. And you know, winning that would be insane, because I mean it's an insane stadium. So definitely Fnatic is gonna try way harder in the finals. They're gonna be angry at us just like scaling in this series. So they will probably come up with some new strategies. But we just need to keep them even fresher.
And you guys better come up with a more decisive early game, I guess. Now, Yike, if you had to choose a finals MVP, yourself included, you can be completely selfish, who would that be?
No, I wouldn't say myself. I would actually say Hansama, because I think he played some champ that he didn't really pay for.
Crowd, do we think it is Hansama or someone else?
Hansama.
Hansama had an incredible performance over Caps. You got the finals MVP. Fantastic performance. Your side laning has been incredible. You have been getting your team back into games you had no business winning, let's be honest here. Now, a few final words from you, perhaps, Yike, about the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun. I was a bit nervous coming into this finals because for sure Fnatic looked strong. But I think we felt good today. I think we played very good, much better than before. And thanks to all the fans. I'm so happy for you cheering for us all the time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys so much. Congratulations once again for locking in the world spot as well. We're gonna throw it over to PGL.